Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman's ninth budget, a shorter speech than it has been at some times in the past, less than 90 minutes. And the focus clearly in part A was on a vision statement, words like skilling and innovation dominating that, and then looking at customs duty rationalization in specific sectors, offering various SOPs and benefits potentially to NRIs who wish to invest in India, or foreign companies who wish to invest in specific areas like cloud services, for example. But as you can see, the markets have reacted rather badly to the fact that there is a higher security transaction tax. Markets, BSE Sensex, in fact, is down by more than 1,000 points. So the markets clearly haven't responded positively to that higher security transaction tax. But let's get in first comments from across the table. Shankar, your first reactions.
I think the budget was split into three parts. One was basically the opening where a lot of the gaps. So I will call this a fill in the blanks budget. So you fill in the gaps in the areas where the domestic economy can be promoted. Fill in the gaps in the areas where probably you might get some foreign exchange, so all the NRI and data center tax holiday and stuff. And the third part is basically in the ease of processes, so income tax rules, customs rule and all. Having said that, I mean, this was far too much minutiae. Somebody should do a word map on how many acronyms are there in the budget, and made me feel like I was listening to a Pranab Mukherjee budget.
First reactions, Dr. Baru.
You know, this is very much in line with Nirmala Sitharaman's 8 budgets so far, which is all about specificities. The big picture clouded by too much detail, because I think the approach of this government has been to show every single segment of society and the economy that we have done something for you. So there are all these small 1,000 crores there, 1,000 crores there, 10,000 crores here, 2,000 crores here. The spending divided into so many sectors. You don't get an idea of what is the total amount being spent. Normally, budgets in the past would tell you that this is the additional demand we are injecting into the economy. This is the total expenditure of the government in coming financial year. So you don't get a big picture view of what is being done in terms of initiatives. And on the customs, again, the old world, we used to have the sector-specific exemptions, too many sector-specific things. If only the finance minister could have said that the average tariff level is being brought down from X to Y, calculating all these concessions, what is it? Has India become more open in terms of the tariffs, or are we still where we were? Those kind of messages are important for the economy to understand, where is the expenditure going, how much demand can be injected as a result of all these initiatives, and how much openness is there. We don't get a big picture view at all.
I had a friend who just sent me a message saying she should be called Tinker Raman.
Absolutely.
So that's what she's done today.
We are tinkering here.
Rajiv, you want a quick comment? Your first comment?
So I think few encouraging things that I found very important were the emphasis on high-speed railways across the 7 city hubs identified. I think that's a really good step. Then, of course, the expanded budget for the India semiconductor mission, the biopharmaceuticals focus, I think all of that is excellent stuff.
Punita.
So while it is very difficult to analyze the consequences of all these little initiatives on the tax side, and that will take a lot of time to do that, at the very high level, based on the speech, I think it's more like going back to the grassroots. Some of these initiatives are very focused, like tourism, medical tourism.
You're setting up rare earth corridors. You're looking at specific areas as well.
Yes, and then Buddhism, promoting Buddhism and cultural centers, education in underserved tier 2, tier 3 cities. It will help employment, because in these areas, even simple thing like tourism can generate a lot of revenues, a lot of employment, and some countries just live on that. So if we do this properly and do, whether it's medical tourism or regular tourism or cultural tourism, And then along with that, she's also talked about innovation in semiconductors and biopharma and a little bit on AI. So I think all of those
She tried
will
to
help.
touch all the buttons. And sometimes
all
when
of
you
that,
touch,
the
there is
capital-
one view that you should
capital
have been more
expenditure-
selective, touch 5 or 6 core areas. But she's tried to touch the whole gamut of areas.
But did you notice she didn't touch the defense button, which we were
No,
talking
she didn't
about?
even talk about it at all.
No, absolutely.
She sort of stayed away from that. But the sense is the markets have reacted very negatively because of the Security Transaction Tax, which is a minor up, but presumably the markets didn't want any of these taxes to be touched at all.
No,
Markets
this is an
wanted a
expectation
change.
story. Basically, they expected that somehow the FIIs will be wooed back, or somehow
But-
the LTCG
was
might be
bizarre,
changed.
honestly, to
Yeah,
think
markets wanted, of course, they didn't want
They always
capital
want
gains
more.
and
So no-
STT,
so
and
no
instead we've got
lollipop,
an
yeah.
increase in STT, so that was a shock. But I think they've given nothing for FIIs, but they have done something for NRIs. So NRIs have been given a lot of tax incentives. Now, whether NRIs will start coming to India more and doing it, I hope they will. But then, they are stuck with this 120-day limit. They can't even spend more than 120
I don't
days in
recall
India.
when last, during the budget itself, the market has slid by 1,000 points. That's a long time since
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
Market is
happened.
also
Yeah,
much higher now.
You know, but
2000
but during the budget
it's a 2%,
itself.
1.5%
2004.
slide.
No, we are going back 20 odd
1,000
years.
points is not
We are going
much
back
nowadays.
20. No, during the budget, market sliding by 1,000 points, more than 1,000 points is about 20 years ago. When, if you recall, that was the first budget of the UPA run with the left, and then A.B. Bardhan
But
famously
20
said,
years ago, the index
"Bhad-
level was also much lower, right? So
Sure, but even so, a 1,000-point drop is a substantial drop today while the budget speech is on. Clearly, the markets had expected that the STT would not be touched. And the fact that it's been touched has led to some kind of confidence lapse.